Hi everyone, this is your week at a glance. Happy Monday! First assignment up this week is Newsela. We are going to be looking at what are Hoovervilles, and this involves our history and economics we've been working on. A lot of you a couple weeks ago had some questions about Hoovervilles, so when I saw this article, I thought this was great because so many people had asked questions. So you're going to read the article and take the quiz like you usually do. The one thing that is different this week is this is a summative score. This is going to be our last Newsela read for the year for social studies. So I want you to take your time, read it thoroughly, go through the quiz, and then complete the assignment on Google Classroom. Completing that assignment is a summative score. So I really want you to show your best work this week. I've given you feedback on your assignments. I've given you resources. I provided you videos. So I'm really looking for you to do an excellent job, especially on that last question, which really is a mini argument. So make sure to do a claim, give evidence from what you read, and have reasoning to make sure that you hit a level of proficiency. Can't wait to read them. You guys put in some work so far. Just make sure to read that feedback, and good luck. Next is the pandemic project. You're just adding another entry this week to the pandemic project, or maybe you're finishing up by putting on the finishing touches, like adding some pictures or putting some videos in and really truly trying to make it multimedia. I did give some people a template last week. If you use my template, that's great. It's there for you and all set up, or you can find your own template and show that you can find your own technology sources to use and set it up maybe a little bit differently, but have the same 11 basically slides or 12 with some background information and maybe even throw in a table of contents. But there's no new witness to history assignment. You've been done with that now. This is the second week you haven't had one, but really you need to be adding the final 3 entries for the pandemic project. And again, on the Bitmoji Classroom, you can find all those resources and also on the assignments on Google Classroom. Next is the Great Depression. Again, continuing our learning we've been doing with the Freedom Flicks book, and this really deals with economics in history. This week, you're going to be reading about the New Deal that Franklin Delano Roosevelt put out to help the country get back to work. So you're going to be wrapping up your learning by reading that chapter of the Great Depression. And of course, you're going to be taking some notes and doing some vocabulary sentences, and that can all be found on the assignment on Google Classroom with a video explanation. So please make sure to check those out. So here is your week at a glance. Newsela, 526 Hoovervilles, the Pandemic Project, final 3 entries, and Great Depression number 4, the final chapter and notes. These are the only 3 assignments you have for the week, so please make sure to complete them. Also, please watch the videos. If there are anything you need, like more explanation, sometimes it might be in the videos as to what you need to do. So I think people are not completely watching the videos or reading the directions, and that's where you get stuck. So please use the resources that I have created and provided to you. I'd appreciate that. Last announcements. This is the last week, as I said, for Newsela and the Great Depression. Next week, you'll just have reflective assignments, like how did you do for the year? Where do you think you're at in your learning targets? So you'll be scoring yourself also on the pandemic project. Remember, you can be working on those pandemic project entries whenever. When you have 10 well done, longer entries, I'm looking for like a paragraph, and a paragraph to me, good rule of thumb is 5 to 8 sentences, using a variety of types of writing, then you can turn it in. I will tell you though, looking at a rubric, which hopefully you will have by the end of this week, you might want to go back and check your work to see how you would score yourself. So if there's anything you need to change before June 3rd, you do that. This is a summative project, so you want to make sure that you've done your very, very best. If you have any questions, of course, see me about that. All right, so that is basically your work for the week. Thanks so much.